Tonight, WSU looks to take on Colorado in their homecoming game.
And find out why the shirts in the middle of WSU campus are important to sexual assault.
And see where in Pullman you can eat locally grown fruits and vegetables. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is Pullman's only nightly newscast. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Shannon Hecht.
And I'm Alfredo Llanos. Welcome to Murrow News 8. This Saturday, Washington State will take on Colorado Buffaloes in this year's homecoming game. WSU will look to bounce back after last week's upset loss to Cal and get back up the college football rankings. The Cougs are 6-1, tied for second in the Pac-12 North behind Stanford. The Buffaloes are currently in dead last in the Pac-12 South and will attempt to upset the Cougs in Martin Stadium. The game is at 7:30. Weather conditions are calling for heavy rains and winds.
The Washington State women's soccer team pulled a massive upset last night, defeating the visiting UCLA Bruins 1-0. The Bruins came into the match ranked second in the country, making the win for the Cougars the biggest in program history. WSU's lone goal was scored by Megan O'Neill in the 4th minute.
London police are investigating magician David Blaine after a former model accused him of raping her more than a decade ago. Model Natasha Price claims that magician raped her in 2004 after going with two of his friends in the mansion for drinks. The police report was filed last November, and Blaine's attorney denies all allegations, stating, "My client will fully cooperate because he has nothing to hide."
As the David Blaine case is being investigated, sexual assault is getting a close look here at WSU and across the U.S. One internet campaign sparked a lot of conversation this week, and I spoke with community leaders about what they're doing to raise awareness. The hashtag #MeToo campaign went viral across social media this week. People who have been affected by sexual assault shared the hashtag to show just how many people experience sexual assault.
To see that many people affected, it's just, it's easy for me to sit in here or go around campus and improve things or accomplish something and say, wow, that was great. But when you see that campaign, it's like there's so much more work to be done.
Every 98 seconds, someone in America is sexually assaulted, and 1 out of every 6 women will be a victim of sexual assault in her life, as well as 1 in 33 men will be victims as well. Many organizations here on campus bring awareness to sexual assault, like the Women's Coalition for Students, who bring out these t-shirts every year, and It's on Cougs and Men for Social Change. It's on Cougs is an awareness group, and they are hosting an art show in November so that survivors and allies alike can talk about assault.
We really want the viewers at the event to come away with a better idea of what it looks like to be a survivor.
ASWSU is hoping to make a difference on campus by changing how sex is talked about and to push important sexual assault prevention strategies.
So we have to be cognizant of those conversations that we have with each other and how we talk about women, how we talk about men, how we talk about sex.
ASWSU President Jordan Frost is working with President Kirk Scholz to create a committee for addressing sexual assault, as well as changing the conversation about sexual assault. Shannon Hecht, Murrow News 8.
The number of electrical workers helping restore the power in Puerto Rico tripled after receiving federal funding. About 300 electrical workers are helping restore the power after Hurricane Maria. Even though electrical crews continue to repair as many power lines as they can, most Puerto Ricans haven't had power for 45 days. Many of them have survived by storing food in ice chests and eating in a few open restaurants. Governor Rosello pledges to have about 95% of the power restored by December.
Earlier this week, we told you about a condolence call President Trump gave to the widow of a fallen soldier. That call is now causing drama at the White House. Congresswoman Frederica Wilson was with the widow of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson when President Trump called Congresswoman Wilson wacky and claimed she lied about his call to Sergeant Johnson's widow.
When we come back, find out how one UW Husky is lending a helping hand in WSU community.
And then see if the Pullman's Farmers Market is really worth your money.
With flu season right around the corner, Pullman is hoping not to get sick. Derek Baker talked with one medical student who believes a thermometer could make the difference.
A University of Washington medical student is attempting to reduce the harm of flu season by giving out free thermometers to the residents of Whitman County.
I've had about 1,000 thermometers that have already been purchased and donated, some from Pullman Regional Hospital and then some from the Thrifty Grandmothers of Colfax. So it's a county-wide drive.
Rasmussen says that the information gathered from a thermometer can help medical providers identify the best diagnosis.
But it's an essential tool in the decision-making process for any medical provider. So there's a lot of things when you have a sick kid, or if you're sick and you go to the doctor, there's a lot of things that go into the decision-making process of what to do with this particular illness for that patient.
Eventually, Rasmussen's goal is to be partnered up with WSU so that every single incoming freshman can receive a free thermometer and a fever fax card.
Definitely help them in stopping the worst symptoms of the flu. It would definitely help a lot of people stop missing class because they're sick, because if you're able to stop it early, then you won't experience the worst symptoms again.
Even though Nick graduated from UW, he cares deeply for the health of the community.
The reality of the situation is we all belong to the Palouse, we all belong to the Pacific Northwest, we're all people, and I think the strength of the community really comes from the health of a community.
Derek Baker, Murrow News 8.
Eating healthy foods is important for the mind, body, and soul. Jay Slaughter takes us to one of the best locations to get freshly grown food here in Pullman.
The Pullman's Farmers Market, held every Wednesday from 3:30 to 6:30 May to October, held their last food shop yesterday. The Farmers Market is one way for local farmers and fishers to sell and have a source of income while doing what they love. Many farmers show up every week with many healthy options.
Have to be able to work, because I've been doing the same thing in Mexico. And when I came here, I worked in an orchard for 20 years. That's what I lost all my hair in there.
The farmers market has more than just hard-working farmers, but they also have great food, measuring from carrots to salmon, all the way to cucumbers and onions.
Last year I was a first-year market grower, and this year, obviously, second year, I've more than doubled my sales here at market in the year. It takes a while for people to get to know you, but I have customers now that look for me every week, and a lot of them are very loyal supporters.
Eating fresh, locally grown foods is not only better for the community, but it's better for your body.
One of the biggest benefits is that it is very close to the consumer, and so it can actually be picked closer to ripe or at ripeness, as opposed to coming from halfway around the world.
The Pullman's Farmers Market will resume May 2018. I'm Jay Slaughter, Murrow News 8.
Coming up, the first team in the World Series has been decided.
And Austin is here with this week's weather forecast after the break.
Around Pullman, the wind has really been picking up lately.
Yeah, Cougar fans are really going to have to hold on to their hats for the game tomorrow.
Austin Getz is here to tell us what to expect. Austin?
Yeah, guys, expect a wet weekend. Looking at your forecast right now for today, mid-40s. Today's high was just 50, and look at that wind a lot of that wind being a real factor in the clothing choice. 17 miles an hour, but getting into tomorrow is what we're talking about for this Cougar football game. Waking up in the morning, it's going to be raining, and get used to it. Windy and rainy all day, not getting much higher than 45 degrees, and around game time, it's going to be awful cold and awful windy. So make sure you bring extra socks, a jacket, a poncho if you have it, and make sure you can stay warm. Looking around the state, on the west side, mid-50s and rainy. We're seeing a little bit of that Wenatchee and Yakima area hanging on to the partly cloudy sunshine, trying to keep that fall weather from getting too damp in the middle of the state and then back over in Spokane. A bit warmer and partly cloudy up there. So let's look at your 5-day forecast, because I have some good news. If you look at Sunday, it's going to be windy and rainy as well, 20 mile an hour with gusts up to nearly 30. So not an ideal outdoor day, but we get into a little bit of a warmer start to the week. 57 degrees and partly cloudy on Monday. Tuesday is going to be one of the nicest days we'll see in a while. 62 degrees, sunny and not a lot of wind. So another day where you can get out there and enjoy the sun. Rain could come back in later the week, but it looks like it's looking up. But for tomorrow, make sure you're prepared for some wet weather conditions, guys.
Thanks, Austin. Hopefully everyone can stay warm out there at the game on Saturday. Coming up, an NFL running back pushed an official during a game last night.
And a Major League Baseball team advanced to the World Series.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Oakland Raiders running back Marshawn Lynch did not finish the game last night after pushing an official in the game against Kansas City Chiefs. The push happened after a late hit by Kansas City's cornerback Marcus Peters on Raiders quarterback Derek Carr just before halftime. The Raiders went out to win the game without Lynch by a score of 31-30 on the final play of the game.
The LA Dodgers will represent the National League in this year's World Series after a dominating 11-1 victory over the Chicago Cubs. Enrique Hernandez clubbed 3 home runs and recorded 7 RBIs in the statement win. The Dodgers will play in the World Series for the first time since 1988. Have you ever been to a baseball game?
I haven't, but I've really been wanting to go to one.
Well, if you want World Series tickets, they're probably going to be a little bit expensive this time of year.
For sure. I've only been to a Mariners game.
Thank you for watching. Join us every weeknight at 7 and 10 p.m. for Pullman's only nightly newscast.
Have a great night, and don't forget to follow Murrow News 8 on Facebook and Twitter. Good night, Pullman.